I'm today going to show you guys how to work with Audacity. It's an open source software. So, what is Audacity? Audacity is an open source digital audio editor and recorder. It was first started by Dominic Mazzoni in 2000. He was actually a college student when he first started doing it. So, if you get any cool ideas, you might want to pursue it. It might become a really highly used program. And Mazzoni actually still maintains the program. He works with a group of programmers from around the world now, and it releases new versions I don't know how often, but he does it actually pretty well. And he's actually working for Google now, so you also probably could lead to get a really good job if you decide to start making programs. So this is just a quick picture of what Audacity looks like. It's I mean, if you don't really know what you're looking at, it could look really confusing. But I'm going to try to give a little bit of an insight as to two of the main components of the screen right now. First of all the toolbars. All of your toolbars are really important if you're going to make sound files, if you're going to edit them. You can do pretty much anything. File open, close, and save. You're going to need those, especially when you start playing around with projects that you really like something. You're going to want to save it. Play, pause, and record as well. You can see the big old buttons. The volume levels are up at the top right, and also I think one of the funnest things to play with, the cut, copy, paste, and trim options. Because you can actually cut small, very minute sections of the sounds out and place it in another place, and it sounds really distorted when you do that. And these are just some of the more commonly used ones. As you can see, there's a lot of other buttons that I haven't talked about, and I will talk about most of those in a bit. And we're going to get to that actually in about a couple slides. So when you're looking at a sound file in Audacity, this is what it looks like. It's called a waveform, and it's by default displayed like this, but you can actually mess with the settings, and you can see a spectrum, or you can also see pitch of the sound files.
Why would you want to see a spectrum or pitch?
I actually don't know. It's really cool to look at. Every file that I've looked at, though, it's really hard to, I guess, decide. Like the spectrum is just so diverse that you can't really differentiate between different parts of the sound file. But that's what I've seen. I haven't been able to actually play with them where I could actually differentiate between them. So, but I imagine there are some sound files that are useful to see it in spectrum form.
Yeah. So, but it's probably used for like specialty stuff.
Oh yeah. More refined, what you really know. Actually, I imagine people who are really professional sound editors will be able to do it. These are the effects in Audacity, or some of the effects in Audacity. I call them the fun stuff because it's always awesome to play around with sound files that you make and make them sound like something totally different. As you can see, you can amplify it. You can make your sound files louder or softer. You can take out the bass. You can also, for people who are actually making songs and want to make them sound professional quality, you might want to use the normalize and the leveler. Also, a compressor is also mainly used to finalize music. One of the coolest little options in Audacity that I really like, because everybody remembers back in the day when people used to release records, the fun thing you did with them was you went and you started playing them backwards, so it sounded like they were saying some kind of satanic chant or something. Well, you can actually do that with digital files now, and Audacity makes it really easy. It's just a simple reverse option. And it's an effect that's already built into Audacity whenever you install it. So after seeing all that, do you need training to use it? No. It would probably make things a lot easier to understand, but it's not needed. I am in no way trained to do music editing, but it's fun to play with, and Audacity makes it really easy for most people. So, I'm going to go ahead and open up Audacity, and I'm going to play with sound files, and I will also show you how to make a ringtone in Audacity. So, yeah. You can actually use Audacity has been installed on these computers right here. A few of them have a music folder where I put in some songs that are under Creative Commons so you can use it.
What softwares does Audacity compete with?
There's actually numerous sound editing. I know Adobe has one. I don't remember the name off the top of my head, but there's several commercial products out there that are similar to
Is it
us.
something like DJ or A-Loops, Pro Tools?
You can use it in that way, but I guess the user interface of it isn't really. It doesn't really allow you to do that very easily. But you can use it. It's very similar to it, I guess.
Did you answer a question?
Yes. It's a sound recording. It's a sound editing and sound recording. So if you have
Hey, Andre, do you have music files on the PCs?
I think I did.
Okay. Where are they?
They should.
On the desktop?
So I'm gonna walk you through the steps of making a ringtone. Right now, I put up a file. It's a song by Rihanna that just came out. I just know because it was on the radio the other day. So if y'all want to hear a quick sample of it. I just really like pop music, so that's how it with Rihanna. Don't judge. She's a great artist. So one of the really interesting things with Audacity is, like I said, you can pick a really minute section of your recording. So in order to zoom in, you can actually hit Control 1, and it'll zoom in closer to your waveform, so you can see it a lot better. Control 3 does the exact opposite. It'll zoom you back out. So I think the part I'm going to pick is about the 30-second mark. So once you find the little section of the song that you want, all you really have to do is highlight it, and from there it's actually really simple. So you just take your mouse and just like as if you were to copy and paste a file, or like a web page, you can do almost the exact same thing in Audacity. One of the really nice little things about Audacity as well is if you're making a selection, down at the bottom, you'll see this selection length. Really important when you're making a ringtone. Your phone only rings for about 30 seconds at most. So if you made a sample that was nearly a minute long, you wouldn't get to hear all your ringtone. So it's usually good to go with something that's about 15 seconds, and that'll work almost perfectly every time. From there, once you have the selection that you want, you can just go ahead and hit the trim button. And what the trim button does is it cuts everything else out except for your one sample that you have recorded, or that you have selected. So right there, the only thing we have is just the little sample, the 15-second sample that I chose.
I had a question. Are there any visual cues that you can pick up in terms of segueing between music, in terms of what you actually see as opposed to what you just listen to?
The waveform helps that a little bit. It helps you kind of see the lows and the highs of the song, and so that helps you kind of see some transitions. But a lot of them are, it depends on how it's recorded as well. So if it's a lower quality digital recording, you won't be able to hear or see the transitions as well.
Right.
But something that's a little bit higher quality, that somebody took the time to record it and in a really high level, then you'll be able to see the differences and be able to pick them up.
Okay, thank you.
And so once you have your sample trim, all you have to do is at the top, you can't really see it here because it got cut out by the screen, but there's a tracks. A tracks option, and then you just go down to align tracks and align it with 0. So it'll bring your file all the way back to the beginning. So once you have that all done, all you have to do is go into the file and you export it as an MP3, and then you move the file over to your phone or whatever or your iPod, however you want to put it on there. It's interesting because it's basically just another music file that you just made, and you can put it as a ringtone. I think one of the funner parts about Audacity is actually messing with sound. So if I can get a volunteer, like anybody.
Let me regret this.
So our volunteer I just had him record something that he just said. He introduced himself to everybody, and so I'm going to play what he just said out to everyone so we can hear.
Hi, this is John, just saying hello everybody, and it's the common phrase.
So now the fun part about Audacity is the effects. So now I'm going to exhibit what some of the effects can do in Audacity. The first one I'm going to show you guys is the amplify. And I'm going to see how much louder we can get. In the amplify effect, if you go over a certain point, you have to allow clipping to make it work. And sometimes it can make your sound file sound distorted. So it's really a personal decision as to whether you want to amplify it that much, or if you just want to go with what you can max out at.
Hi, this is John, just saying hello everybody, and it's the common phrase.
Kind of a minute difference, you couldn't really tell that much, but it's, if you have something that you recorded at very low volume, you can actually make it really a lot louder. I'll show you one in a minute where we can do that. Another cool one is the echo effect. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And now this is what it sounds like.
Hi, this is John, just saying hello everybody. Hello, Mr. Common.
So you heard a clear echo in the background as well. I think like I said earlier, I think the funnest effect that you can do on this is reverse. So now we're going to hear exactly that phrase, but now we're going to hear it backwards. And you won't really be able to tell exactly what he said because of the fact that you've never heard things backwards. You hear it forwards, and that's how you know what you're listening to. So this is what it would sound like backwards. I'm actually going to undo the echo effect first, otherwise it would sound really disturbing. So as you can see, the waveform just looked like it turned around, and so now we're going to hear the actual sample. Yeah, it sounds nothing like the original, but that's what it sounds like if you were to actually hear it backwards. So it's a really cool effect that you can play with things with. Right now I'm going to show you guys a recording that I made earlier. It was really just me at my computer tapping a pencil against the desk. So I don't know if you'll be able to hear it with these speakers. We'll try.
So much being
It's not very loud, so in order to make it louder, I'm going to use the amplify effect so you'll be able to hear it. Now you start hearing the little beat that I made. And because I am not really good at keeping the beat, in order to make a cool little sample, I actually only selected two. I don't know if you saw earlier when I tried to play it, it just played a real quick sample. It's because I had already selected it. I don't know if those are the exact two that I selected earlier, but it was similar to that. And so if you do that, you can just copy and paste it. Into a new file, and so all you have is those two by themselves. What I like to do is if I take something with just 2 beats on it, I use the repeat effect, which in essence just copies that same 2 sounds over and over and over again, however many times you want. So right there, the repeat is 10 times, so you hear the same sample over and over. Playing around with the effects is really fun. I'm going to go ahead and just show you what I ended up with when I was playing with these 2 beats yesterday and what I came up with. I find it really interesting to hear, but some people might not. It kind of changes in the frequency because I used like a phaser effect, and it changes in the tempo as well. So you'll be able to hear that, and it's pretty noticeable. Sorry, I wasn't loud enough the first time.
Keep expecting the spout to overflow.
So you can't really see it in this, but there's actually, what I started with was 2 beats, and then I did a repeat 10 times, so it turned the 2 into 12. And from there I did another repeat on those 12. So there's actually, I think, 132 individual beats in this one little sample. And then you can do a sliding tempo or a sliding time warp. So it goes from a certain tempo change till the end. It'll change in between the sound itself. So as you see at the beginning, it was really fast, and it slows down, and I think it slows down to 6 times the original tempo at the end, and that's how you get that sound. There's also a phaser. You can tell how the frequency kind of changes, and if the speakers were a little bit bigger and split, you would be able to hear that it goes from one to another. It kind of pans, but we have these little so yeah, that's some of the cool things you can do with Audacity. If you have like any other kind of get any other ideas of the sound, you can probably play with it.
How about going between Windows and Mac? Is there any real difference in functionality?
Wait, between Windows and
Mac,
and Mac? Oh, the program setup it's almost the same in both.
Okay.
You'll look at it and the interface doesn't change, but I do think that there's different kinds of encoders for Audacity on the Mac. What I mean by that is, if you're using it on a PC, you actually have to add an additional a plugin in order to be able to use MP3 files or to save it as an MP3 file. For Macs, I'm not sure about which extra plugins you'll need to use that.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
That's good.
All right, I'm done. It's really useful.
Yeah, his Japanese wife. That's cool. Yeah. Okay.
I'll let you get your computer set up and then
That's funny, I've been using Audacity.
I plugged your computer.
Oh, thank you.